Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Um, I like to use my phone because it's mobile, but moving forward, I like to use my platform, but just here on the computer because it's gonna easy for me to play videos and also for me to do other stuff, bring people on easily. So I thought to do it here. And then I can go ahead also and just put this video on YouTube automatically. Much better than the because now Facebook only allow the video to last for like a month and they take it down. But YouTube is there. It does not have to go down. So um yeah, that's what I choose to do it this way. So good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, I'm in the kitchen this morning to have a conversation with you about Liberia and leadership, why we need leadership now to show up. Leadership is not just in the title, not just in the name, it's about the actions. Okay. It's actually in the action, in the actions of people, in the action and impact of people. And leadership do matter. Okay. So if you are here, welcome. Please do me a favor and share the video. All right. Do me a favor and share the video. All right. Thank you so much for those of you who have already logged on. Now, I'm going to start this conversation this way. As an educator who live in a state with over 30,000 Liberians with Liberian passport, it says with Liberian passport, with Liberian birth certificate, okay? It behooves me and any other person who is into education, who is into, and not just in the classroom, okay? Advocacy is education within itself, okay? So now I'm going to ask all of you to go ahead and share. If you have somebody here who wants to come on, let me know. I will put the link in the on the feed for you to be able to come on because I can do that with this. All right. Now, here's what I have noticed, and I will come to Liberia while I'm saying this. And I'm gonna play some video on how a few of the would-be leader or who are already leading that took part in the elections, what some of the platform, what were some of the things that they identified that they thought needed to be fixed, how they would be fixed. And I will use a particular video. Some of you may not like it, but those are the facts where it stands. One thing though that we all must remember, I'm cooking, guys, I'm in the kitchen. All right. Ooh, it's burning. Give me 1 second, let me let this sit and go off a little bit. One thing that all of us need to remember is that in democracy, the nation can only forge ahead if the freedom of information, the people are informed of their rights and responsibility. You cannot exercise what you do not know. You can't. You cannot tell somebody it's like before women and I'm going to go to the United States. Women did not have the opportunity to own property because they were already considered properties. They did not have the right to vote. When the 13th, 14th, although the 13th Amendment said everyone were not in slavery anymore. 14 say they're not citizens. 15 say they can vote. I'm bringing America to this, right? And I'm just giving you an example where we are as a nation, where we are as a continent, all right? Because I was listening to a young man this morning about African leaders, how they make it a duty to go to summits. They make it a duty just to beg that since Donald Trump had come to power and done all of this, none of them has said anything. Somebody came under the post and said, Burkina Faso, out of 54 countries that's supposed to be independent, you are giving me one country with one young man who barely been there for 2 years, who is reaching out to his people and trying to do the best that he knows how. All right. I'm praying for him. Like Solomon, that God will give him wisdom, that he does not become a tyrant like the rest of them. Because power corrupts. And absolute power completely corrupts. Right? So now let's continue this conversation with you. As an educator in the classroom, I've noticed when my children walk in the first day or the second day or the third day, they would come to me in the corner, Miss Martin, are you a Ghanaian? Miss Martin, are you a Nigerian? These two countries will be quick to try to identify you so they can identify with you. These kids will come and ask you if you are a Ghanaian or if you are a Nigerian. These two countries. My conversation today stems from the conversation we had yesterday with a group of Liberians. We have gone to sympathize with my sister Juanita, who lost her husband, and we were telling our stories. Before you, most of you came as refugees on student scholarship in mass, that you came with document in your hand. The first group of people who came tried to navigate their way. Okay, it didn't matter their last name. We were talking to Cockers, we were talking to Dennis's, we were talking to Dunbars, we were talking about Brandy, we were talking about these people were there. And literally, Molly, that's me. Ekpeye, that's my husband. And literally, everybody who came earlier on, by the early 90s, from the 70s to the 80s, not those that came on as a refugee, we all had the same story. We all follow literally the same path, okay? And they're about 4 to be able to be regularized, have legal status, okay? Now, I'm coming somewhere with this because the division in Liberia, where it comes from. I'm coming somewhere with this because of the hatred and the divide in Liberia, where it comes from, where the root cause, why our children are ashamed to identify who they are. My kids, my particular kids in America, and my kids will quickly tell you they're Liberians. Okay. My Alyssa will quickly tell you her name is Keko, meaning the future, which is named after my mother. Okay. She will tell you her name is Grace Sabrina. Okay. She will quickly tell you that. Now, here says, Yama, hey, beautiful. Happy belated birthday. Happy birthday. And we celebrate you. Why is this? I wrote this morning before I played this. Hi, Peter. I see you. Okay. I'm going to read this, and I wrote this earlier. And Peter, actually, from the conversation on Thursday, kind of jog my memory to what I wanted to say today and what I'm talking about today on Saturday. This is what I wrote, and I will post it later with the picture. And this is what it says. We must all get involved, okay, in a unitary state or in a unitary form of government like Liberia. The concentration of power at the national level makes it critically important for all citizens to take an active interest in the election of public officials. Okay, it is not limited officials. That means I'm talking to you about all officials. It is important, especially the president and members of the legislature. The central power, the central government holds the majority of decision-making authority. And the individuals elected to those positions play a critical role in shaping the nation's direction. The president, as the head of the executive branch, does not only enforces not only enforce law, but also appoint key officials across government institutions, okay, including the judiciary, which significantly influence, okay, the balance and fairness of justice in our country. The Liberian legislature decision, okay, are made collectively, play a crucial role in lawmaking, oversight, and budget approval. Okay, not only that, not just budget approval, they also approve all of our treaties. Okay, all of our treaties. That includes concession agreements. All right, people coming to our country to do business. People in our country who are in our country. So I want you all have remember this. Here we go. Okay. However, without the active participation of informed voters, the legislative branch risk becoming disconnected, which already it is. Okay, becoming disconnected. Where am I? Disconnected from the needs and aspiration of the people it serves. Moreover, the president authority to appoint over 4,000 public officials, including judges, ministers, and head of government agencies. Okay, this role, I want you to remember, this role underscores the far-reaching impact of the presidential election. Now, just remember that not just the presidential election. When somebody say to you, like Madam Beyonce in Sierra Leone, the best way to impact, to change Sierra Leone is from the presidency. Alexander Cummings said the same. The best way to change Liberia, okay, will be from the presidency. The president, yes, that's the word, Peter. Inform voters. How do you get informed voters? You educate your population. We have not done so. Okay. And Peter's a historian. He's here. He can tell you. Any of you who have studied history, war history, or a particular history in time, it will tell you. And we say in Liberia, when water dry, fish eat fish. Okay. We talk about people being jealous. Good morning, says Richard. We talk about Liberia being envious. I will tell you what. In this state that I live in, Georgia, one day there was a riot. This is after the Civil War. They call it the Atlanta Massacre. They kill Black people or unalive Black people. You know what they said? Black people were the reason that they were not getting jobs. Because times were hard. People didn't have jobs. Today, you see in America, people say, y'all go back to your country, although everybody came from everywhere. Although we own a life, thousands were annihilated, almost 80% of the natives that live here. When the Spanish first arrived. Okay? And then the English came. And they say they didn't want other religions to come. They didn't want Jewish people to come. They didn't have a choice. The only way they allowed Jewish people here in this Georgia, because they were dying. And the doctor that they needed were among the Jewish people, so they were allowed to settle. The Salzburger came. The Highland Scot from Scotland came. The other group, the German from Austria came. Now they're telling each other, and they could not even stand each other. They were already fighting, prosecuting each other in Europe. You know why? It's that why they were? No food were in England. Those from Scotland were struggling. They were good warriors. They were good fighters. They were strong, but they were fighting. Yes, they did not want Catholic. All right. So where am I going with this? The need for leadership now in Liberia. It's not merely worship. Okay. I will continue. And we're talking about the president or the presidency. Why it's important. The president has power to elect to appoint all your municipals. You know why in Georgia I can pay attention to Trump and I pay attention to Trump? Because I have a governor. If I don't like the governor that I have, I will vote a governor that will be my interest. You know what? Jimmy Carter was governor in Georgia. It changed everything. When he became president, it gave voice to Black people. He helped change this state. This is the deep South. Okay? I lived down less than 3 miles from where they used to lynch Black people, where they used to sell Black people in the street. I'm coming somewhere with this because I've started from the conversation at Juanita's house, where you have Dennis, you have Richards, you have Molly, you have Peye, you have all of the names that come from out of Liberia. Yes. Some have plantation names. Some have Malian names. Some have Guinean names. Some were from the empire. But guess what? We're Black. We're Liberians. And for us to build Liberia, we must see ourselves first and foremost as Liberian. Now, as a tribe, your tribe is a complement. I want you to hold on to a tribe. I love to speak different languages. I think language is the train that carries culture. Okay. But we must reevaluate where we are as a nation. How the division has helped us. You know, I heard my sister talking about the division in Liberia. And I've been on both sides, so I can speak to both sides. And that would make many of you angry when I start speaking on both sides. When your parents have been given opportunity to lead, and they sabotage 90% of the nation and give us opportunities to come back, the very people who our parents sabotage their education, their time, their growth, their ability to grow and develop. Development is to reach your highest peak, not just in size. Now, I'm not talking about physicality. I'm talking about mentally. I'm talking about wealth. I'm talking about life, okay? You don't. All right? When we tried to be, yesterday I'm in a chat room, and I'm going to say this too. I'm going to say, I've never really say anything, but Peter, I'm going to say this. People forgive me. Like my ANC group sitting in the chat rooms. They will run on spoon to defend. The moment you say something, they will run, they will make any platform, just go on a platform and call Mr. Cummings' name. They will go there if you say negative. But the person who is educating the population that will open their minds, then the person is on their side, though, but they don't like the person. So they will not show up. You got 500 of them sitting in one chat room. They will sit in the chat room and fight among themselves, looking for attention. Mr. Cummings married. You get West. Mr. Cummings, if something happened to him, his money will go to his children. He get children. He get grandchildren. You believe that this man can help change Liberia, but you make excuses as to, oh, my Jordan, Peter is a freaking coach. Work for Ivy League University. He comes on Facebook and battle. I work for K1 through 12 children. That certain vocabulary I don't use. Y'all watch me. Now that I know how to call, I do. Number one, my job does not, especially in Georgia, does not allow me to do a lot of stuff. Two, because my parents taught me that if I want respect, I should always care. Even if people disrespect me, I should be respectful and forgiving. Sometimes forgiving to the point that people take advantage of me. The cost to come back, the cost to come back, the cost to come back. Now, if in a same country that those who spoke to me, that me and my people voted for, become rich overnight, and me and my children are still sleeping in one bedroom. One bedroom. Yesterday, a baby was violated until they were unalive. 3 days ago, a 48-year-old man did the same thing. You're not hearing about it? We're showing Bwaka and yellow machines. Most Liberians don't have cars. Most everyday Liberians do not have cars. They don't. And the thing is, how to Liberia develop? Let me explain to you how this nation did it. That most nations have modeled after. That helped build Japan. That helped build South Korea. That helped rebuild Italy. That helped rebuild England. That helped rebuild Germany after World War II. Even the very Singapore. The first thing that the Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew tells you, he said they mapped out what they did not want. So they identify, by the time you throw something at them, they tell you that's not what they want. Lee Kuan Yew said they identify, they say a wise man is a man who knows what he does not want. You're breaking down homes in the country that almost 80% don't have place to live. You got young people in the family living in one bedroom, not even room. Maybe a 10 by 10 in the same room. I watched the little man called 34 years old when he took over. You know why he's different? He's educated. He understands service to mankind because he's in the army. He was sent away. He went outside of the country. He saw how other people have built their nations. He also learned what it's like to be patriotic. When majority of the Black people who fought in the Civil War in this country, during the World War II, World War I, when American Black people were allowed to join the service and they went overseas and they saw what it was. When the Nigerians and the Kenyans volunteered during the war to fight on behalf of the colonizer, and they came back to the country, that's when the revolution started. They knew at that moment what it's like. That's what differentiates Liberians and Nigerians. They know what it's like to fight for a cause. They know what it's like to be divided. Are they perfect? Hell no. They're hustler. Aha, any day. They're corrupt too. But Nigeria have over 230 million in population. They have more. She have more money than Qatar, than the resources than Qatar, than Saudi Arabia, the desert island that is now an oasis. So if we are asking, why are we divided? Because when I first came to this country, Sis Wilmer, God bless your heart, I was hanging out with some, at the time, my big sisters to learn around. And they used to cater for wedding. And we went to this girl wedding planning, and they were doing the catering. And this girl was from Grand Jide. And most of the people, Sis Will, didn't know my background. And they were talking about charger. You know, the big plate that you can put your plate in to eat. And there was a woman there. And she said, where the country people know about charger, they used to eating with their hands. I was young there, but like in my early 20s. And I turned to her and I said, take that back. I started with a very low voice. I said, take that back. Sis Will join and say, you're in public places, you don't make this kind of comment. And I said, you don't make this kind of comment at all. I said, I'm a proud country girl. In fact, we're heritage from Grand Jide. I'm a country girl. Yes, we eat with our hands. The Nigerian eat with their hands. The Indian eat with their hands. Most nations eat with their hands. It has nothing to do with your intellectualism or level. It has nothing to do with your education. That's the problem with Liberia. The so-called natives in Congo, we're not Liberian first. We're country and we're Congo first. That's our problem. So When you loot everything and the other people can't find food to eat, for the own survivor, they will hate you. They will. Why won't Liberian people hate what is happening in Liberia? Why won't they? Why won't Liberian be divided when the people they've elected only steal for they and their friends? My brother, Casablanca, Victor, that were all over on this Facebook, cussing George Weah for appointing people from Southeast. His brother is the CSA director. He is in some place there. My daughter Rosa asking yesterday, he want for Rosa to go in his inbox to ask him. No, you're an advocate. You are on Facebook. She's asking you in the appropriate place. All right. I'm not sure who this woman is. That I don't know who she is, and I need people to let me know. Okay. Let me say who this woman is, because I want somebody to let me know if they know who this woman is. All right. Y'all give me 1 second. And I pray that it's not Josiah Joka's wife. Okay. Funani Kofa's wife was to the hospital as a director. Apparently, she resigned. The mere fact that her husband is the speaker. All right. Not that I still don't support his position. I do. I'm just speaking my truth. All right. I don't know if this person right here, I'm going to share it right now. So I want you guys to tell me, who is she? Who is this particular woman right here? All right. I want to know. Hopefully it's not Josiah Joka. Okay. So I need somebody to tell me. Now you got Liberians all over the place, jumping all over, up and down about what they call it, yellow machine. Having yellow machine. How many of you going to drive on it? How many of you going to have food on your table? Why would you need 285 yellow machine? This is the term I'm talking about. Mrs. Joanna Domingo Joka, Director of Nurses. How you call it? We miss you. Okay. Medical Center. I don't know who she is. All right. People reach out to me. Let me know if this is true, because I don't know. Okay. Hopefully, it's not my brother Josiah's wife. Hopefully not. Okay. Like for instance, what's this guy name? Gafwan. Gafwan brother is another head of government that hire people. Gafwan is the one at the what do you call it, minister of who is over our money. Why won't the people be? That's not jealousy. Some may be jealousy, but these people have actual right to be angry. Okay, they do. For instance, we were given an opportunity. As he left Liberia for 40 days, 30 days, 20 days to go watch his children, his son play. We're happy for team. He earned his place. I'm here. My daughter knocking my chest for my baby. Brilliant little girl. From the day she was born, she has been. I say I can teach her from out of my womb. The little person, 14 pounds, little person. Her voice, as they took her out of the room into the nursery, my mom had to follow her. She was so loud, the whole world could hear her. Okay? And she's not a loud person. She's a very quiet child, just like my husband. All right? From pre-K, Alista started speaking different languages. Alista could speak Japanese, Spanish, English, and I'm sorry I didn't teach her Mano, which is my fault, because I was not home enough. We could have. And she always wanted to learn it. All right. From gifted in elementary school, okay, to AP classes. In fact, elementary school, she was on a team for Einstein Kids. All right. So I can brag about that. But my daughter worked hard, and I'm sure Tim worked hard, and we're proud of him. But the story is, though, Tim's father was given an opportunity, knowing where we came from, to change lives, and he failed. Maybe it is a misplaced anger on him. And then the father tried to lie, put things in the young man's name, which he came out and just spell it out and said it were not. Take from the Liberian people to put it in the young man's name. And he was brave enough they want to be a part of. So yes, kudos to him. It may be called the sin of the father or the sin of the mother. For all the countries that have gone to war, it has started even with Germany, where the Jewish people are the one that make it that the German people not getting jobs. They're the one that got you living in the ghetto. The word ghetto came from Germany. When they took the Jewish people out of their homes, okay, and Ghetto, then put them in a ghetto, a place called ghetto, meaning a place that was not livable. That's where it came from. That's where that word came from. Put them in a dungeon somewhere that was not livable, that was not conducive. Okay, now let's continue here. I don't believe I finished reading this. So as I continue with this, all right, these appointments shape public policies, service delivery, and the overall effectiveness of government institutions, affecting every Liberian regardless of the social or economic status. I want Liberians to remember that as the upcoming senatorial by-election in Nimba County approach, it is imperative, do you hear me? I say it is imperative that all Liberians, particularly the residents of that region, engage thoughtfully and responsibly in the electoral process, choosing a senator that is not just about selecting a representative. It is about choosing a voice in the national dialogue who will advocate for development. When we talk about development, it's not abstract. Okay? Development is not abstract. I want you people to remember that. It's not in your head. It's not something everybody see and they look at it differently. Development is not just building road. Development, the most impactful development any nation, okay, can advocate for or can implement is the development of the mind, development of your human capital. When you develop the people will develop their nation. So you stop the joke with our people. All right. How many of you Liberians got cars? The roads are there right now. All right. Right now, Liberia need to be trying to decentralize. 2, leadership is about solving problems, meeting the needs of the people, taking the people where they ought to be, where the Liberia ought to be. That's the question that we all need to know. Where we ought to be. We ought to be the leader of West Africa, as we rightfully have been, should have been. Okay, the oldest African nation in that region, the one who advocated for the apartheid to stop in South Africa, the one who advocated for the nation called Israel today and signed off on it. That country, the one that was founder of the OAU, 40 member of the OAU, 40 member of the League of Nations, the United Nations. That's where you need to be. So as I continue, okay, now here it is. I said what? Thoughtfully and responsibly in a electoral process, choosing a senator is not only about selecting representatives, it is about choosing a voice in the national dialogue who will advocate for the development of justice and accountability, okay, for Liberians who may not be eligible to vote, whether due to age, displacement, or other circumstances. Those circumstances could be that we are in different locations. Those circumstances could be that we are not on the ground in Liberia, who not for Nimba, we are voting cards in Nima candidate. The circumstances could be, I have a voting card, but I live in the United States. I'm not going to get on the plane to come to Liberia. I did before. It cost me over $10,000 for me to register in the last election. First thing, I bought ticket, took off time, came to Liberia. On my way to Liberia, they changed the time for us to register. All right. And now let me educate. I'm going to veer off a little bit and educate some of you Liberian people. You're quite assuming that you know everything, because you don't. And that's why the country is so confused. It's a country that does not specialize. Everybody know everything when it comes to politics. That is a problem. That is our biggest problem. Knowledge, fake intellectualism is our biggest problem. All right. Somebody say, oh, in this Arab country, what country does not register every time they're voting? I registered once in the United States of America when I became citizen to vote. My children and everybody who child were born in the United States, you got a unique ID to call a social security number. Once my children turn 18, they send in a voting card. They automatically register them. Okay. Although the first time they go out to vote, they must go and verify that they still live here, that they're still here before they can vote. So they go in and call, they put a number on the back, call for verification. They can go online, verify their stuff. Every year when the children turn 18, the voting card are automatically sent to them unless they move. Okay? And they will ask you at that address to forward it or take it back to the mailbox or put it back in the mailbox, and the mailman will check it and say you are not. 2020, when they were discussing a lot of voter votes, that people that were from overseas, Americans who live overseas, vote absentee ballot. Okay, we have to go to the resident place, although they didn't live here, to their spouses to find out if they still live there. We carry paper, they sign to make sure, and then turn in that paper to the voting pool. We were monitoring. That's how you do it. So because you do not know, it does not mean it has not happened somewhere else. What do you call it? Ignorant of the law or other places does not mean that there's an excuse, and that's the problem. Most Liberians are not able to proudly say, listen, I don't have the answer right now, but I will research. Give me an opportunity to look it up. You assume you know. That's the problem. That's the problem, that we only function at about 10%. It used to be 20%. Now we only function at 10%. And the nation is in dire need of honest people, people who are specialized, people who understand how system and processes work. Liberia is in the need for a leadership now, not a mere title, not just in the physicality, but we want that not in abstracts, like it's in our head, you know, like somebody gaslighting you. Everything you're thinking is in your head. That's what's happening in Liberia. Now, let me continue as I started here. Now, maybe we're all over the place, but I'm talking to the people who have cards to vote in Nimakande. And let me speak to some of you who come on Facebook, writing tapata, being stupid. Yes, I said it, being very stupid and ignorant. And somebody will say, yeah, that's me. You're stupid. That's not me. Y'all go watch it, a man who call women private parts, who dig inside their vagina to talk about it. You ain't got no problem with that. You ain't got problem with little girls being taken advantage of to death. You ain't got no problem with that. You will not even repost it. You ain't got problem with that. You got problem with sensation. You got problem with honesty. We got problem with unity. That's what we have. We have problem with being nationalistic or being patriotic to the country and living in a country of brotherhood. What you got problem with? That's your problem. Now, let me continue. Okay? Now, so we said what? Because we're all over the place. So I said, that said, your voice and your resources still matter. It does. Advocacy, civic education, financial support to the most prepared candidate, and the public discourse are powerful tools for shaping the decision that will impact all of us. That is how you can vote indirectly. This is to all of us who are around the world. Those to those in Liberia, but I can't vote. You have a voice. Add it. Because Liberia is a unitary state. Because power is concentrated. Okay. Yes, and I do teach government. It told Peter to bring me back to that sense, to go back to get my thoughts together and write something out, because I do. I teach different government in Africa, government in Asia, all part of Asia, Southeast, Southwest Asia, what do you call it, Europe. I do. Okay, the different structure and the functionality, and identify at least 6 of them and teach my kids on it. I do. Now, there we go. And I said this. Let us all take ownership of this. Take ownership of Liberia's future through both direct and indirect means, and commit to building a more inclusive and accountable nation. That's how you change. Okay. When you hear somebody come and write, or you see somebody write on Facebook and say that Nima Kante election, stay out of it, tell them you are ignorant off the front. You don't know what you're talking about, because they are ignorant. Okay. They're ignorant. They don't understand the functionality of their government. They don't know how the government functions. They don't know it's a unitary state, because they only hear democracy. You got different type of democracy. You got democracy, okay? You have democracy. You have parliamentary. I see those are the most common one. And you talk about direct democracy, all right? We say America is democracy, but it's a federalist system, okay? So we have the federal government, and we have the local government, the state government, all right? If you remember, during Trump's first election, the governor of New York challenged him because he was elected. You think if we elect our superintendent, which would be like our governor in our county, you think somebody will just come and talk to them? You think if we can generate our own money, the money that is generated from Nima County, Grand Judea, in those mountains, okay? You think if percentage is paid to the central government in Monrovia and the rest is in our nation, that the citizens decide how to spend the money in there, do you think Liberia will be running the way it's running? Yes. Yes. Yes, Cousin Jada. Okay. Now, yes, it matters. So if somebody come and tell you this is Nima people business, tell them they're not Nima people business, like Liberia people business. Now, those of you who tell us the change does not start from the president, okay, appoints those who hire all 70,000 government officials. He appoints all of them. He appoints the chiefs. He appoints the ZOE. He appoints the county municipals. He appoints, that includes the superintendent, the city mayor, the district desk, the coordinator, the financial group. He appoints all of them. He also appoints the judiciary, the Supreme Court, the local judges. Have you thought about it? I was on, what was this guy, Nipiwu? We're on Lofa Jula show in, I believe, before when Joseph Waka had just taken over. You know, it didn't dawn on me, and I was talking to Smith office. And then they were alarmed and said, how in heaven that a little nation with little money have this much appointment power by the president? This is a dictatorship. You guys are running a monarchy. Fuck, Liberia is a freaking monarchy. That's what it is. So if the president appoints all the head of government, all right, the 103 people that you say elect and they're there for themselves, most of them come broke and they're fast on trying to get rich. Let me stir my soup, folks. Okay. My people, y'all can like eat flour, so you know that I gotta veer off a little bit. The other day, Daddy boy, I gotta talk about you. Look at me and say, I went to the store. When I got to the store, the particular African store had not opened yet, and now it was odd. I usually go there. You say, but their store right next to going to your house, And I'm like, no, the close to that store. You say, no, follow me. So I follow him to the store. So I was making soup to carry to Juanita. And so I went to go get some fufu. I was getting the fufu and stuff. And he stopped and asked me, yeah, do you cook? It was just because a lot of people used to ask me that question, and I think they stopped asking the question to me. And I just stood there. I'm like, Daddy boy, how long have you known me? He said, over a decade. And I said, and you asked me if I can cook. He said, but you can't ask me if I can cook. I said, you're God. It would be logical, especially an African man, for me to ask you that question. But as a Liberian woman, okay, especially somebody you know for this well, AB Bosso, he started laughing. And I said, when you used to come to the community center, the food I was there, I cook it. He said, really? You don't look like somebody that you cook. No. Just as when I went in the community and this woman came to run against me, and the people would say, oh, Yaseni being in the community for long, she advocate for the community, she did that. But this woman is more educated. And I stopped at one person and said, what do you know about me? Because Liberians are used to people showing up and showing off. You got degree, but you have no career. You sat in your taxes, you pay people, you got your paper written, you got degree, you have no practical experience. Everything you know is in theory that changes every time. Okay. And that's how most of them can function in other countries that are competitive. They can't do the competition. Most Liberians are not able to. That's why they run to Liberia. That's why they run to Liberia. Okay. So I just posted, I want somebody to tell me. I pray that that particular tag, that name, is not Brother Josiah Joka's wife that is going. I can bring you on. Let me send you the link. Okay. I'm going to put a link right here in the comment section. Okay, where is it? Bring me on. So let me see. All right. Give me 1 second. I will put the link in the comment section. And I know why you want to come on. Okay. I'm just praying that, give me 1 second. I'll send you the link. Here you go. All right. I just sent you the link. All right. Pastor, I love you too. It looked like I will get away with offering today. Okay, I will get away with. So, folks, let me come back to this. Liberians are not hateful. Liberians need to learn what it's like to be patriotic. Liberians need to learn what it's like to be appreciative of themselves. Anthony, you see me, I'm live. Okay. Liberians are in survival mode. Liberia required leadership. Okay. That's what Liberia needs right now, direction. When you have your children in your house, okay. Those of us who got more than one child, the politics in the house, the children will start asking you, okay, Mommy, who your best child? Mommy, who do you love the most? Daddy, who do you love the most? It's all politics, okay? It is that place. What place do I belong? You know what my question is? Anyone who asks me, who do I love the most? I say that you. When the other person, I say that's you. You know why I love you the most? Because you're different from your sister. And I love you, brother, the most. Your other sister, so, Anthony, I'm live, man. Okay? You know why? Because each of you have your place in my heart. Each of you have your place in my heart. All of you I love in a different way. You are loved the most in a special way. And this person, and somebody would turn around, but Mommy, you just say you love me the most. Yeah, I do. Indeed, I do. I do because you are special. And I carry you all differently. at a different space. Okay. I'm about to get up, Zeze. So, Zeze, are you there? Hello? Hello? Mm. Zeze, I'm not sure. I can't see you. Can you hear me? Zeze, go out and come back in. Let me see. There he is. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You're muted. Okay. Now you can talk. What's on your mind? I still can't hear you for some reason. I can't hear you, Zeze. Can you talk now? I still can't hear you. You might want to go out and come back in. Okay, so I started this conversation on two notes. I said, as an educator that's in the classroom, it behooves us Liberians to teach our children, okay, to make sure they love themselves enough that we show them love, that we teach them patriotism, that we teach them that Liberia first. You know, Ghanaian will say, we are the best. We are the best. Liberia is my country. Congo, native, and I don't know what that is. Until we disabuse our minds from those, we'll continue to be enslaved. Our country will always be second class to all nation. Everything that we build, other people will come. They will build upon it. They will enjoy it, and we will not. Okay? I said to you in my Liberian voice, if you build the people will build their nation. For all nations that have developed, that's how they develop. You build the people build the nation. When I came to this country, the road that's today 16 lane, 285, 85 in Georgia, but 4 lane road. What China did, they hire, America did, they hire engineers. It was the industrial years, the factory years. They hire engineers from around the world to come to the school to train their people. They say you gotta go out and come back in. I'm not sure if you can hear you, so I'm gonna take you off. Go out and come back in because you're muted. Okay, try again. Can you hear me? Zeze, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You're just sitting there. You can't hear me. Okay, you can't hear me. You gotta go out and come back in. I can't. You gotta go out and come back in there if you can hear me, because if you're on the platform, you're just sitting there. I can't see you. So I need to make sure you can go and come back in. All right. Okay. So, and I talked about the name, the experiences that those of us who came to the state earlier on that we had. It didn't matter if you were Tarbert. It didn't matter if you were Tortman. It didn't matter if you were Jenkins. It did not matter if you were Harris or Harris's or Dennis's. You went through the same process, just like the country people. You were Liberian. You held a Liberian passport. So what we need to do now is we need to do this as Liberia. We have done it too long, 180 years. It has not changed. That's what we need to do. Okay. Now, and I said this in my classroom, every time school is starting and we get a young person okay, walk in, that Ghanaian, Nigerian, Ivorians, the kids will come around you and ask you, Miss Martin, are you a Ghanaian? They will come to me, Miss Martin, are you a Ghanaian? Okay. If they're Nigerian, Miss Martin, are you a Nigerian? And I would say, I'm not a Ghanaian, I'm African, I'm Liberian. Okay. And I would tell them the same thing. And you are from West Africa. You are like me. You're my child. Welcome home. You will spend 190 days with me. We will grow together. I will learn from you. You will learn from me. And you can always talk to me about anything. Okay. Zeze, can you hear me now? I can hear you. Okay. Let me put oil in my soup. Then I'll get ready to get in the speech. Then come back and study. Okay. I'm cooking. I told you I'm cooking. Okay, Zeze, for some reason, I can't hear you. Okay, folks. Yeah, Cindy. Oh, I forgot I have water going to add, and I did not. Oh my God, I forgot. All right. So, folks, I am about to get up, but the story of Liberia, it is the story of almost every developing nation or emerging economy, for that matter. That is the story of Liberia. So, what we need to do as a nation is first hold our leaders accountable. I told you all, I'm gonna use my laptop here than my phone. When I have my phone, it's more stable. I get more, how you call it, but I'd rather use my laptop because it saves up. Number one, I can do stuff concurrently, meaning I can YouTube, I can live stream on my YouTube. So when Facebook take this video down, I'm saying this video is still on YouTube. Okay, so I will ask all of you, I'll put my YouTube link here. Please go there and subscribe. So because moving forward, most of the video will be on here. After a couple of weeks, I will take the video down, but it will be on YouTube for your search and listen. Now, I will say to you, I'm looking at three persons in these elections. Okay. I'm looking at Edith Gonclo. I'm not saying I'm endorsing her yet. And all the names I'm calling, I'm looking at Mike Blumen. He's young. I think if given an opportunity, he may have new ideas that he can bring to the table. I don't know his background much. I would like to host him and know who he is and have my own questions as to what he's doing. I've listened to some of his interview. It has been vague to me to some degree, but I believe that he can grow on us. Okay. I also know Edith. We need a voice of a woman in this field. We account for 50% of the population. Nimakante is the second largest voting bloc. Okay. Women account for half of the population. And I think that's a need, okay, especially not just a woman, an educated, well-traveled woman. Have she have some missteps in other places that she was given an opportunity? Yes. Okay. But none of us who has not. All right. And I can speak to that. All right. On another time. I have Dr. Gompu, who actually was a part of the first, left his job here, went to Liberia to work with Ellen, the first term of the UP-led government. He was one of these people who worked in finance to work diligently to make sure that they put their character, their integrity, and the expertise on the line to make sure that Liberia was forgiving for most of the $4 billion that we owe for the life of Liberia. And when he saw things were not working the way he anticipated, things have shifted, he left to come back to the States and went to teach and educate more people. So I respect him for that. And you have watched he and I on this platform over and over. I know some of my video were taken down. My system were hacked and taken down my last platform. This is new. I'm still about 1,000. So yes, let's make it work. Let me see if this will work this time. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, now I can hear you. What's your talk? What do you want to say? You got about.
Yes,
I'm gonna give you 5 minutes.
let
What's
me
up?
let me say a very big thank you. You know why? Let me appreciate you for always electing young people, most especially our Liberian people about good governance, ethics, and that of ways of life. And actually appreciate you for all of your efforts you have done, your contribution to young people around the globe, and most especially Liberian for the impact you have been making. So I just want to make a few points, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I I sincerely believe it's vivid. It is proven that what is actually dividing our country is because there's no love,
No.
and with there's no love. It's absolutely there's no love. And what I mean by that is when I say there's no love is regardless of politics, we don't see democracy or politics being played in the Western countries and what have you. But one thing we do not know as Africans is love, putting one country first. So regardless of the political separation of ideas or whatsoever, one thing I can say is the politics is differences of ideas. So you
Yes, but
can
like
have
Liberia
your
is not based on idea though. It's
yes.
based on
So you can
tribe.
have
But go
you
ahead.
can
Mm-hmm.
have yes. That's true. You can have your different ideas on governance. Other one have their different ideas on governance. You go to the pool of competitions, and the majority can vote who they want to vote. But most especially Africa, we take politics at a dangerous point that we have self-interest over national love. So we prefer having our self-interest being felt, having our self-ego and what have you, and not putting country first. And I've been following global politics and whatsoever, most especially the American politics. You see people with, regardless of the political differences or whatsoever, country come first. People come together to make sure that we have one goal, one national policy, one national understanding, one national development objective, but not Liberia, most especially Africa. We are very destitutional in thoughts. We are poor in thinking. We don't understand that after politics there's rebuilding of ideas. Our leaders are not understanding that. They take politics that if you don't support me, you don't have my belief, you don't have my ideas, political ideas, it means you are not part of my circle. If you criticize me, it means you don't love me. And one thing I can say, your critics is your biggest motivators. Your critics, because they see what you don't see. But in Africa, we take our critics to be people.
Amen. Amen. Tell them again, young man. Tell them. Tell them. Say that
And let me
again.
repeat myself. Your critics are your biggest motivators. They see what you don't see. And one thing, we don't believe in our critics. We take our critics to be people like our enemies, and that is bad in our politics and whatsoever we do. It's absolutely bad. So again, I appreciate you. Like I always contact you on national issues or whatsoever. I appreciate you a lot. You have been one of the a strong woman, most especially in our African politics and most especially Liberia, to making sure passing your ideas across. I appreciate you so highly, and I get you a heart. Trust me, I get you a heart. I appreciate you so highly.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. You know what? And that's what I tell, and Peter and I, we just talked this morning briefly. If I touch one young person to be ethical, to be patriotic, to understand the role, what they're charged with as citizens, okay, how it would change. You know, you and I were out there in the trenches trying to
So,
educate people about voting, right? The very
so,
people that when we first together with the CPP, me, I told Mr. Cummings, I even cried Mr. Cummings, I said, do not join them. Okay. I'm glad he joined them to some degree. Okay. Now, we are where we are. I tell you what, if I can touch one child, one young person to think, not just with logic, but with humanity, and humility, empathy, compassion. I think I don't need 5,000 persons to show up and give me money. All right, you give me money, I'm gonna spend it on somebody else.
Sure.
Okay, that's the. But if I can touch you where you can stand up and speak for your nation, not just for you, that you're brave enough to brave the storm, for the other people that come after you, for your children and your unborn children, I think my job is done, and I'm grateful, and that's why I'm consistent with. You may not like me. One, my son Moses can say, "Mommy, they may not like you, but they damn well respect you because they know you're not going to flip flop. They know you're going to stand for what you believe in." You know, people asked me before, why you are where you are. Here, I have made lawmakers in America. In fact, if I call my lawmaker right now on the phone, she see my number, she will answer me. If she does not, she will text me and say, "When can I call you? I'm in a meeting or so." All right. During the corona, that woman drove to my house to come and check to make sure I'm okay. Me and my family are okay. That's how much I do in my community, both here and home. All right. But I think knowledge, I would say in my Frederick Douglass voice, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. So if I can impact knowledge, I think that's the most that I can do. Thank you so much for coming on. So I'm about to finish up. We'll talk later. Thank you, son.
Thank
God bless. Yep. There we go. You see, like I just said, folks, I just post on my Facebook. I said the yellow machine story, that another distraction for spending millions of dollars. You know why? I got more contract under my post than my life fee. Okay. Right now, if I just post Papi Bwaka picture and say something, they will come under there and just cuss. And some of these people cussing, that $5 they give them, that $2 they got. That's it. To eat today. How about you make the sacrifice today so all of us can eat tomorrow? The problem in Liberia is that's bringing the division. Why we're divided is because the people we are trusted to build a nation so all of us can coexist, so all of us can survive, so all of us can have an opportunity to grow and develop and reach our maximum peak. They have betrayed the nation. And it's about survival. We are all, majority of Liberia are in survival mode. I saw a young man today that stole $20. I'm going to play this for you. I will play it for you. $20. They naked him. They naked him, my people. They naked the man. They were about to beat him until they can unalive him. This is how we are. Have you not watched Liberians stone each other to until they're gone? You not watch Liberian lately? I just told you about a child. Oh my God, where is this picture? I don't have it. But you know what? Since I don't have this, I'm going to go ahead and play this video that I told you about. I just read to you why we must all get involved. Yeah, that's it. You see, that's the same thing they were accusing CDC for. They are worse. UP is worse. Okay, they pay people. They got one little boy on Facebook putting the road. That road was being built during Ellington, during Weata. That road was being built. How many Liberian people you can drive from Monrovia all the way to Ganta? You might see 3 cars. The most 5. That they are zombie and killing themselves on that road. Well, Liberian need right now that road. Okay, you need a sidewalk. You need a route for motorbike. Monrovia was built for 100,000 persons. Monrovia need leadership. It's needed now. Monrovia needs a new route. You see behind, you saw me in Virginia. The beach in Virginia. Around the beach that cover that particular place. The road that car can drive all the way around the whole town, the whole city. Okay, your build road from behind the mansion all the way around Monrovia, so it be an exit or an alternative route. People ain't get houses to live in. It's frustrating and contradicting. All right, here's why it is. People don't have enough place to live. You're not relocating the people. You're not finding solution. You're breaking down the house because it's on the road. You don't care if people are living in graveyard. You don't care if the zinc shop will go down and the people can afford to eat. And then I hear Liberian women say, oh, that development, even we don't eat. And I hear some of you come on Facebook, work for 2029. That's not the way it works. How about we work now? You don't know if you will live to see 2029. Why are you making promise? You're not God. You seen the young man in Burkina Faso. He said around here, old car. He said the car not about him. He had created over 100,000 jobs. Can you imagine? Pape Bouaka, the $22 million that you use. Go between Grand Jide and Nima County and say, I need a size of 5 football field. I'm bringing machines for farming. Get at least 400 acres. The one I can spread the seed, the one I can cut the tree, and the one I can fertilize it. You don't need that many men. You need people to operate the machine. You need people to harvest. You need people to process and bag and load. Okay. Then you need distributors. You know how many people we hired? You know how many people we hired? You know how many people we feed? You know, it will cut down also cost, tariffs, and other taxes for importation. We eat pepper. We're right there. The ocean is right there. Majority of the container that goes to Liberia, 80% comes back empty. But you're all in cars. You've been all in cars since 1822. And our people, we still got almost 80% illiteracy rates. Yes, we are. Most Liberians cannot read at 8th grade level. Our processing is low, even those with college degree, majority of them. I'm doing well, Ambassador. Okay. So I want to play this video before I go. Hopefully I can find it to play it. I can find it. It's in Minimpool. Is it Minimpool? Why? Minimpool. I think what name was Minimpool. Yes. Okay. This is the video here. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play this. That's not the one I'm gonna play. The one I want to play is the one that talks about no, that's the expose. The one that talks about our issues, how we can build our nation. No, maybe I'll do it next Saturday. But I can't find this. Okay, y'all give me 1 second. I've got to find this. Hold on, I got to find this really quickly. All right. If so guys, so far that's This is where we are. This is where we are as a nation. This is where we are. Why we need change. Why we need change in our country. Okay, why it's important for us to think differently, do things differently. Okay, we must do things differently. As a nation, we must do things differently because we have not. We have not been. Where is this thing? Where is mine? I thought I knew exactly what this was. I thought I knew exactly what this was, but apparently I don't. So I will go ahead and stop about now. I think I've been on here long enough. I wanted to do an hour. I think I do more than an hour.
Oldest republic in Africa. And yet, we're one of the least developed countries on the continent, and indeed one of the least developed countries in the world. And I say to you, my fellow Liberians, we deserve a better Liberia. We need to ask ourselves some fundamental questions. Why are we where we are? Most Liberian homes don't have electricity. Most Liberian homes don't have running water. Most Liberians are unemployed. These are things we can change. These are things we should demand of ourselves and of our leaders. We, as Liberians, cannot keep doing the same things and expect different results. We cannot keep electing and selecting the same kinds of leaders with the same kinds of experiences and expect Liberia to change. We have to do many things differently. And that starts with selecting and electing new leaders who know how to create jobs, who know how to grow the economy, who will prioritize the Liberian people first before they prioritize themselves. And this is what I offer you, the Liberian people. The other universal truth that I want to share with you, my fellow Liberians, is the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And again, I ask you to look at my record of job creation, of success, of managing large budgets without one penny going missing. All of these things you can look at and compare to the other candidates. And again, you will see that my past performance and past behavior is a good predictor, a good indicator that what I commit to, we will deliver. There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. The next priority is agriculture. We are a country that do not feed ourselves. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves. And my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our 5th priority. And there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion. All of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money to do all of the what's I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is first, we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after this thing called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country. Is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. And we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we'll appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail, and we'll seize the assets. It will not be good enough for you just to resign.
When life's a circus, Teladoc Health can help you juggle it all. Your doctor's visits can
So we're gonna play this little by little. Next week, I'm gonna bring you a piece of that. I'm just gonna do piece. I'm not gonna leave it like whole. All right. And everything that is said or spoken on here is true today. But here it is though. When Mr. Comey said it would not be just good enough for corruption, most of those people fear. Okay, because that's what we are doing. We're doing business as usual. And it also tells you that this is the way it's been. And those in charge, that's what they're going to continue to do until the good people rise up, until the good people are strong enough to brave the storm. Because I strongly believe there are more good people in Liberia than there are bad people. I believe that. I strongly believe that. But when good men do nothing, evil prevails. In fact, it emboldens evil. So my time here is over. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Hopefully you have shared. Okay. I know, like I say, my goal is not if I get 200 people, that's fine. If I get 500 people, but my goal is that I get one person to listen, and I get one person that I make sense to. My job will be done when I do that. Just one person to change. Like the young man that just came on. Young man that came. Another thing that I wanted to, and I will talk to you next week, is going back. Driving in reverse. We cannot continue to go back because we left, and where we find ourselves, okay, it's not conducive as we have planned. You don't go back. You continue to move forward, okay? Nobody told you it was going to be easy. Change is not easy, all right? Because every time you go back, that person does not respect you, will not respect you. They take you for granted because they know you cannot go forward. You will always come back. So we don't go back. If you have problem with them yesterday, if they disrespected you yesterday, if they watched your children unalive and there was no justice yesterday and justice was denied, justice will be denied even more next time. If you watch them declare rape as a national emergency and promise $2 million and they never deliver it, okay? If they abandon the position for months and go off for weeks and you didn't matter, they didn't speak to you while they were in power, when you bring them back, it will just say, you don't know better. It's not going to change anything for them. I want you to know that. It's not going to change anything for you either. It's going to be business as usual or worse. So that said, I am moving on. I'm going to get some rest, eat my flour sauce, and get in the street, come back and do some schoolwork and call it a day. Well, thank you for those of you who tune in. Okay, I appreciate it. This is in the kitchen Saturday. We're going to resume our Saturday morning. Things have been very difficult, but we will do that. We'll continue to do that. We'll continue to talk to you. I will have Tom on this show, I believe, sometime this week. Tom Wongbe, we will host him, but I need to make sure we're also on the air in Liberia. Let's have a good evening, everyone. Your good afternoon. Bye-bye, everyone. We are on Second Thought Africa. We imagine. So we're imagining the nation.